Okay, in this lesson I wanted to talk a little bit about improving your speed. So this is something that can take a little bit of time. So I'm going to sort of rush through it in this lesson just to show you my process for getting better at something. So you can use this process for either improving a beat you're struggling with or improving a technique you're trying to learn. So I'm going to use it to practice a new technique I'm trying to get better at, which is with my left hand playing the hi-hat with these two fingers and then the kick and the snare with the thumb. So, and I'm just going to stick to that very basic beat because I haven't practiced this very much, so I don't want to make it too complicated for myself. I just want to practice the very basic stuff until I get better. So because I haven't practiced this very much, I might just start by seeing if I can consistently keep a pulse with these two fingers. Once I can do that, I might start trying to use my thumb. I might make it even slower than I just was as well, just to practice coordinating it. So this sort of practice is really good for your brain. So it takes a long time to make the new connections, and you need to give your brain some repetitions. So you can't just play for a minute and expect to have mastered it. Cool. So once you get used to that, the muscle memory a little bit of doing it, you can turn on the metronome. So my goal might be to maybe get up to a speed like 120, which I can already play at. But that's not my goal. My goal isn't just to be able to play at that speed for a second. My goal is to be able to play at that speed, say for 5 minutes, without making mistakes and being relaxed and comfortable while I'm doing it, which I'm definitely not at that state yet. So I might start, instead of going straight to my goal speed, I might start at, say, 60, so half of what that is. And again, too slow, it might be even harder than you're expecting. So I don't want to go any slower than 60. I'll just start with 60. Okay, and it's a good idea to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So I might decide that that's way too slow and way too easy for me. So, but again, that might be your goal. My goal might be to be able to play a beat like that and stay very much in the pocket, stay very much with the metronome. But say my goal is to get faster, because that's what this lesson's about. So I'm going to move it straight up to 80. So I've jumped up 20 BPM. So let's have a look what that sounds like. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So I think counting is a really good way if you're struggling to stay with the pulse. Counting is a really great way for your brain and your body clock to keep that pulse automatically. So for me, I found 80 then easier than 60 in staying with the metronome. So now I'm going to go up just 10 BPM and see what that's like. So go to 90, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 Cool. So that's definitely starting to get up to a speed that's starting to test me now. And each of these speeds, you might say practice for a few minutes at least, maybe even 5 minutes, and slowly work your way up. But just for the sake of this video, let's jump up another 10 to 100. Okay, I'm going to see if this is hard for me now. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So again, starting to get harder now. So from this stage, I might, instead of jumping up 10 BPM, after practicing that for a few minutes, instead of jumping up 10 BPM, I might just make it 5. So I'm going to 105 now. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. So say I play that for a few minutes and make no mistakes, jump up another 5. So 110 now. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So let's just hypothetically, that's enough for now. Let's just hypothetically say that was too much and I was making some mistakes at that speed. I'll then reduce it by 5 and play again. And you might think, say, things like fatigue for your hand or your brain might make a previously easy speed hard. Okay, and then I'd reduce it again and reduce it again. If you start to feel some strain in your hands, or it just gets too much for your brain, have a break, come back to it later. And sometimes I like to say, if I've been practicing for a metronome with 15 or 20 minutes, I might just like to play without one and just relax and play with whatever speed I feel comfortable. Give my brain a chance to reset at that. But the best advice I can give is don't try to get to your goal in one session or in one day. Okay, practice, 20 minutes, 30 minutes if you feel like it, and then go to bed and come back the next day, and you'll find everything will be much easier. You'll improve so much overnight, so much more than you can in one session. So give it a few goes, give it a few sessions, instead of doing everything at once. So you might practice that for 15 minutes, 5 minutes at 3 different speeds, getting faster and faster. Then you might decide that's enough. I'm going to practice and have a bit of fun just playing around. Okay, so because you need to have some time to have fun as well. It's not just practicing to the metronome for 2 hours every day until you get sick of finger drumming and never want to do it again. So that's just a easy way to get faster. Take it slow. So you might have a movie on or something and just practice for 5 minutes at one speed, 5 minutes later put the speed up, 5 minutes later put the speed up, have a break for 5 minutes, then 5 minutes later go back to the same speed you were practicing last time, then put the speed up, then put the speed up. Okay, that's too hard, have a break, and come back and put the speed down, maybe 10 BPM, and see how that goes. Maybe put it right down and just practice really slow for 5 or 10 minutes. Do whatever you feel comfortable doing, because the idea is to be comfortable and relaxed and build up the speed of that comfort instead of pushing yourself too far outside your comfort zone and then feeling like you suck or you lost, right? So although it is good to test ourselves and push ourselves outside our comfort zone, you don't want to do that for hours straight and just be frustrated and struggling. Cool, that's enough rambling for now. I'll see you in the next one.